Now, just to remind folks, Sally Kate Winter Services, Family Services Organization, is an organization that helps children impacted by child abuse, neglect, family violence, and homelessness. To donate or for more information, text SuperTalk 22 to 41444. If you suspect child abuse or know a youth who is in crisis, call the Mississippi Child Abuse Hotline or contact Sally Kate Winter Services directly. Now, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Again, not necessarily something that we want to talk about, but something that we need to talk about. And I'm very excited to now be joined by Scott Reed, who is the president of the Sally Kate Winters Family Services Organization Board. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and thank you guys for doing what you're doing to help us promote Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Yeah, certainly, and good work. That's right here in West Point. Now, how long have you been affiliated or working with the Sally Kate organization?
So I've been on the board here at Sally Kate for probably close to about 18 years, which seems like a long time. I make a joke that they had to amend the bylaws for me to be able to stick around this long, but it's just something that very quickly I fell in love with and recognized the need for in our communities, and it's just an organization I'm very proud to be affiliated with. And so, usually I tell people you're asked to serve a board tenure like this, and the end of it you're counting down the days to be able to roll off, but not this one. I like to stick around. It definitely, it's something I'm involved in that you can see the fruits of your labor, and so I'm excited about that.
Now, how did you initially get involved? What was it that you either learned about the organization or led you to?
The very first time I remember having any affiliation with Sally Kate Winters was in junior high school, and our junior high SGA did a fundraiser at school, and I was an officer there, and we donated all of our proceeds to Sally Kate.
Oh, wow.
And like so many people in West Point and in the area, I had heard about Sally Kate, and I knew that Sally Kate helped children, but it wasn't really until I was asked to be a part of the board that I really learned the scope of what all Sally Kate Winters does. And then through my service on the board, in the last 18 years, our organization has changed a lot. We've had to change with, the different demands and the services that were needed. And so it's just really been an organization that I kind of feel like I've grown up with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, certainly. If your first exposure was in junior high.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've been very interested and somewhat involved since.
Right,
it
exactly.
Sounds like. So what does it mean to be a board member for the organization? What are some of the duties and the things that you do?
So our board is a voluntary position, and you're basically invited by or nominated by another board member and asked to join the board, and we really just serve kind of as an advisory council. Mm-hmm. Our executive director, Sheila, and our staff do a fantastic job with just the day-to-day and the program management and that sort of thing, and then our board serves as kind of advisory to Sheila and advisory to the staff and helping with kind of more of the, the management part of it. Mm-hmm. But yet we're kept very up to date as well on what's going on with the shelter and the different services and that sort of thing. Several years ago, we were seeing a need to change some of our services here and that sort of thing, and so we as a board kind of did a lot of study into what was needed and what families were needed. We used to be known as Sally Kate Winters Children's Home. Okay. And that was at the point where we realized that healthy children come from healthy families.
Yeah.
And so we changed our scope to really kind of focus then not only on children but on families as well, and not only on emergency situations but in prevention and awareness, and to try to stop the things that turn into the problems really before they're problems. And so we as a board just kind of help with that, with kind of seeing what direction the program needs to go, look at what's working, look at what's not working, adjust, that sort of thing.
So what are some of the things you think about prevention, promoting healthy, stable families? What are some of the things that either you as a board member or we as people who certainly want to do what we can to prevent the presence of child abuse within any community? What are some of the things that either you do directly or we could be thinking about doing to help support that mission?
Well, I think definitely one thing is what we're doing right now, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just awareness. The other thing is letting kids know that there's help out there. or even letting families know that there's help out there. You know, we have respite services and that sort of thing when, especially in foster care, when situations may be escalated in a home and everybody just needs a break from one another. So mainly just the awareness that there are places like Sally Kate Winters Family Services out there to offer help, of course, to break the stigma and to help kids. You know, a lot of children, especially if in the home where they're supposed to feel the safest, they don't feel safe there, or they don't feel like they can trust those people, then they're not going to trust anyone, right?
Yeah.
If you feel like you can't trust the people you should be able to trust the most, you're not going to trust anyone. So we really do that by going into the schools and going into the community, and we have our safe place signs all over North Mississippi, just to let kids know that there is somewhere out there to get help. And, you know, I had always heard that abuse and neglect and that sort of thing is cyclical and generational. I didn't realize that as much until being at Sally Kate, and I've been on the board long enough that, I mean, I've seen that firsthand. You know, we're serving children of children that we served.
Oh, wow.
Because the pattern it has to be stopped. It has to be broken. And so that's kind of what we do here, is we just try to break that cycle.
Yeah, and stay committed to seeing that through. Now, you mentioned the safe places signs. Could you describe the signs for those who haven't seen them?
So those signs look a lot like a traffic sign. They're just a yellow kind of diamond-shaped sign that have a black house on them, and it says safe place. And you may see safe place signs on police stations or fire departments or some schools, some restaurants, just really all kind of different places. And what we do, or what our staff does, is they go into schools specifically and train children that when they see that sign, that means that people are there to help them.
Okay.
And so a lot of times, especially older kids who are in a situation that they want to get out of, they don't know where to go, or they don't know who they can trust. And so we teach them that if you see that sign, you can go there and get help. And our staff go in and train the staff, whether it be the firemen or the policemen or the school officials or whatever. We train them what to do if someone shows up in need, and to kind of make the process as easy as it can be, and get them to us or call us and that sort of thing. So it's really just exactly what it says. It's a sign that you'll see on buildings to let kids especially know that that's a safe place, a place that they can go if they need to get out of a situation, or if they just don't have anywhere to go. You know, I didn't know about a couch surfer until I started Sally Kate Winters, and those are kids who really have nowhere to go, so they go from couch to couch to couch in their friends' houses. And so our safe places for that as well. We have a runaway and homeless youth program here, and if they just need a place to stay, whether it be for a couple of nights or for several months, then they can go there and we can help them out with that.
Now, it certainly takes a lot of resources. You're providing quality care to kids.
24/7 care. I mean, we have to have
24/7 care.
For the safety of kids and that sort of thing. You know, we have 2 staff members who are awake constantly with our children, and in our our transitional living program, we have life skill coaches. I mean, they're learning over there. They're learning how to budget, how to grocery shop, really what they need to be successful adults, and hopefully that's where breaking that cycle comes in. You know. Sometimes they age out of foster care at 16 years old or 17 years old, but really, I mean, who of any of us are ready at 16 or 17 years old to be on their own?
I certainly wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where we saw the need for transitional living, is to offer a place for kids to go in that age that still need some help. And so when they're in that program, they're learning, you know, how to set a table, and how to go to dinner, and how to go on a job interview, and how to save money. They're required to have a savings account. So, you know, that's really a program that we're trying to help kind of break the cycle and that sort of thing. So it does take a lot of resources to run a place like Sally Kate.
Yeah, certainly. It's that full life commitment to trying to help them get past a very traumatic situation, and not let that define who they are for their whole life.
Sure.
and set them up for success. Well, if folks are interested in either learning more or even interested in donating, where can you direct them?
So the first thing I would tell them, if they can stop by, we would love for them to see the facilities, to tour what we've got going on here, just to get real familiar with the place. And there are lots of volunteer opportunities. It doesn't necessarily take money. We need man hours too, but they can also go to our website, and there's a donate button there.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.